G'day guys and welcome to the Centre Bounce for this video where we will be talking about our final trades, the captaincy options, as well as our tips going into the round. Stay tuned. Yes, Bigger J, it is time. Another Thursday night game coming around and we have to nail our trades. Well, I don't have to nail my trades tonight. I can wait till tomorrow, as you guys will see in a second. But it's here, our final trades video. We'll start off with you, of course, because I'm going to be talking about my trades in a second, but you can kick things off.
Yeah, I think I'm in a similar position to you. I mean, my team review video just came out, and then looking at my team, it's not doing too bad. The projection is good. The team's looking good. Jordan Sweet now has gone on the bench. If I have a look at the undo changes, I just went Dempsey for Sweet. Obviously, Dempsey's not going to make me any more money. Cool, I'm very, very happy. And then it just comes down to what I'm going to do. So ultimately, in my head, I want to start filling up this midfield. So Sweet goes well. It's got the E on him. Livingston goes in for Grundy. Grundy turns into a Sarong. Is basically my trades this week. With Harley Reid going to the forward line. So I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, basically with Sweet Primos left. So yeah, not looking too bad there. If Sweet doesn't do very well, I think a lot of people are not going to be happy. But Big J just has to work out then what he's really going to do with his team. I'm very, very lucky that I've got a Darcy Wilson, a Closey, these guys on the bench that I can do some DPP swings with. So yeah, that's kind of my things. Very, very easy, very simple. We don't have any boosts left, so life is pretty chill. You can make 2 choices a week. What do you reckon, Joe?
Yeah, that looks great. Very nice. Do a bit of live trading. Nothing quite like some live trading to let the world tell you let the universe dictate what happens next. Just go with the flow. It's really good that they are the very first game on the Thursday night, and I'm doing the exact same thing.
If they were later on, we'd be it'd be a lot harder, I think.
Yes, it would be. Your VC and C coming into this week?
Well, we'll do that in a little bit, but I think I'm going to go. Maybe we can make it so we can see a little bit better. I think I'm going to go Sam Walsh into a Max Gorn. There are some juicier options here, but I'm secretly hoping that Sexton's named, so I have no loop. That's kind of my hope at the moment. So we'll see what happens there. If Sexton's not named, I can do a lot this week. If Sexton's not named, and let's pretend Sarong ends up in my team, I think I may go Max Gorn potentially into a Bond or someone else. This game is actually no. I can do that. I can go Gorn into Sarong. That will be my spot if Sexton's not named, and then Sweet does well. Over to you, Joe.
Very, very nice. So I'm in a very similar situation. I actually traded in Jordan Sweet last week, so I didn't have to use the trade to bring him in this week. So I could technically have done no trades. But, I love to trade. And for me, it would be such a shame. It would be such a shame to not have used. Exactly. So what I've done is, as you would have seen in the break-even video, I am sick and tired and done for good with Rowan Marshall. He is on my never again list. And so Rowan Marshall is a gone. Now, who does he go to is the question. Now, I've also traded out, if I just come here to undo changes, I have also traded out Ollie Dempsey. I've gone Dempsey to Rogers at this point. So that's what's going to happen. And then Marshall, I've traded out for Touk Miller. I think Touk Miller at his current price point presents good value. And I think he is going to be, he's got a history of finishing in the top 8. Great run for Gold Coast to come. They do play North Melbourne twice. I'm sorry, Big J, but I just have to capitalize on the points that is going to come his way. He's clearly in their top 3 rotation when it comes to midfield time, and he scored really well on the weekend playing against the Eagles in a game where he if he really was going to be a top of his line type of midfielder, he had to go big, and he did not disappoint. He went 149, and even when they're getting smashed, he can still find a way to get 30 disposals and tackle at will. I think Touk Miller is a safer option than someone like a Noah Anderson. Yes, Anderson has less ownership, but there's a reason, and it's because Touk Miller, on average, has more contested possessions and tackles more as well. And you're going to need both of those things in the next 4 weeks, playing at the slippery Gabba this week, and then 2 games to come also in Darwin. So I'm going to go with Touk Miller. Now I'll only have 1 spot left to fill out, and that's going to be Petrarca in a couple of weeks' time when he bottoms out more in price, which is going to be absolutely sensational, and that's what we're looking like. Now, if Sweet though performs under 90, I'm going to be very generous for them. Solorock against Riley O'Brien, if he goes under 90, then we do this. If he goes,
see you later, mate.
If Sweet goes under 90, what we do is this.
Yeah,
we do this.
And then Joe joins the Max Gorn train, and he's very, very happy.
We do this, and we no longer cry every week. We do this, and we no longer cry every week because this guy has single-handedly been the difference between me and actually going up in ranks. It is literally him. He is the only reason. I have scored comparable to a lot of people this week, and I didn't have a Max Gorn VC. I instead had Rowan freaking Spud, one-leg Marshall, who can't win a hit out to save his life. I lost 100 points between Gorn and Marshall, plus the VC. I took a Zach Merritt. You can't fade 127. So then what I would do is I do this, and then I've got a loophole here to swap between Cadman and Biggie, and then I can VC. Yeah, and then I can VC Max Gorn, and if Max Gorn, which he should pop off, I'll just captain Livingston. Now, they will be really tough because we'd only have seen 1 quarter. I don't recommend doing this. This is crazy.
You may have to move. You may have to loop. You may have to switch Sexton and Buku Karmas, though. I've just noticed that you might have a donut in the forward line.
Yeah, true.
So make sure you don't have a donut in the forward line, please.
Yeah, for sure.
If Sexton isn't
named, if Sexton isn't named, then obviously he becomes the loophole, and he becomes the person who we get to captain. He plays last. But if not, this is very risky doing this. I might end up VCing Harry Sheasel, playing against the Saints, who like to concede a lot of points. So, these are the 2 options. Right now, I'll take away Max Gorn for now, just because I am the anti-Gorn person right now, and I feel like it would be a shame if I was to lose my persona as the Gorn fader at this point. So, is this Touk Miller? Yes, it is. Awesome.
And everything you said about Touk Miller, Joe, is making me very happy for actually having Touk Miller in my team.
Oh, of course.
So hopefully Touk Miller does well. I know I was cranky Jay a couple of weeks ago with Touk Miller scoring an 88 on debut and Matt Rouse scoring a 140 and being able to get either. But we're okay for right now.
I told you don't sideways Miller for Brow. And there you go. Yet. Touk Miller. I think he is a top 8 caliber player. He can go 115 to end the year, and he'd make a wonderful M8 for us. And then Petrarca comes in a couple of weeks' time, which is wonderful. I am holding on to Powell at this point. I'm hopeful that he's going to get his CBAs again, and then he can make us keep scoring us the good 90s odd, high 80s, low 90s. I'm only going to put Sexton here just because I want to loop Cadman into Biggie. I am a little bit concerned about Cadman's scoring against the Swans in what is going to be a really heavy rainfall game, which obviously is not going to be very conducive to, not very beneficial for key forwards. So I'm happy to put the emergency on him. If it doesn't work out, then I can go biggie. Now that does make things a little bit interesting for me because we've got only Livingston if Sexton doesn't play, and if I have to take his score, look, I really don't have great loopholes. Melbourne plays early, so I can't captain Hoare. And if Sexton is named, then obviously we can't captain him. Plus, if Cadman scores really badly and I sub Biggie on, then I'll lose my loophole. So this is a really bizarre situation that I find myself in. I'm thinking that for me, my best option, I think, with this current team as it stands, might be Merritt into Sarong. Wait, where's Sarong? Where's Sarong play? Yeah, Merritt into Sarong on the next day. I think both of these guys have really high ceilings and could go really well. The only issue is Merritt plays Livingston at the same time. So I'll lose. So I don't have Livingston as a loophole. I don't own anyone early other than Sheasel that could potentially be okay. So that's what my team looks like.
Or a Sexton.
Yeah. Exactly. So
I like it.
It's all dependent on Sweet, how he goes. If he goes under 90, Maxi go and get in my side. If he goes above 90, then Touk Miller, welcome aboard. And then I'll have heaps of money in the bank for next week, almost 200K, which should hold me in great stead to continue my upgrade cadence every week.
Well, that's what you want, right? You can give yourself a good defender, get yourself a good forward, finish off your midfield. Let's kind of see what happens there.
It's gonna be the back line. It will be the back line because we're leaving that last spot here for Petrarca. So we're leaving. So we're gonna try and get someone off the field, maybe Clohisi, for example, or someone's gonna come off. We can send Clohisi here and get Graham off, whatever. But I'm thinking it's gonna be Tom Stewart, and then the following week could either be Luke Ryan or Petrarca, whichever one has the lower break even, and then the next week after that will be the third person. So we're looking to get these players bottom price for maximum output.
Yeah, 100%. Let's check out the captains and the captains and our tips for this week, Joe. So,
yes,
I've already done my tips, but I will tell you as we go who, give me who you're going to tip. So, Adelaide versus Port Adelaide. We've spoken about Thursday games never really working out. I don't think there's anyone from this game that you would put captain, vice captain.
Butters was going to be a really interesting proposition if Connor Rozee wasn't playing, because obviously that would mean that he's shouldering a massive load in the midfield. But Connor Rozee with the 0-week hamstring, if you don't mind, thank you for coming. So no one, I wouldn't VC or see anyone in this situation. But for my tip, this is a tough one, man.
You could potentially go Dawson if you're really cheeky, but I don't think it's worthwhile.
Poor Adelaide against inside mids are pretty restrictive, but he hasn't been playing inside mid. He's been playing almost as a winger. If you were to look at his heat map, so he might do okay. He does like to perform against the power in a showdown, but I think I'm going to go with Port Adelaide on this one.
Yeah, that's who I've picked as well. I just think Adelaide's going to have some trouble and Port's got some good key defenders. And if Tex Walker's not at 150%, he's going to struggle.
They have good key defenders, but there's no Alir this week. Alir is concussed.
That's fair. Radigalia, we'll see what happens with him and BZT.
BZT! Last year's reverse Coleman medalist.
We've spoken a bit about Carlton and Sam Walsh being an option. I don't think you would probably go Nick Dacos, though some people will pick a Nick Dacos just because. We have a look at the stats. Collingwood, okay. We'll see.
Pretty good.
So Collingwood give up a lot of points to defenders, and then Carlton give up a lot of points to rucks, apparently. Because their rucks are never good. So,
exactly.
Yeah, we were going to pick Sam Walsh, but maybe not as much anymore. We'll see what happens with that.
Nah, Sam Walsh is fine.
Yeah, Sam Walsh is the right pick there. If you've got him, you'd be very, very happy. Who's your selection for this week?
Carlton.
Yeah,
Easy.
that's who I've picked as well. That's who I've picked. Collingwood
No
does
to
have a
go
few
in.
midfields out. So if you haven't already heard, guys, I think not Pendlebury. I've got him in my brain. Tom Mitchell's not playing. De Goey's not playing. It's a lot. It's a lot of these mids that are going to miss. So yeah, Carlton
Plus,
should win.
Chera will be back this week, I think. Is Chera back this week?
Potentially back this week.
So, yeah, it looks like Carlton's going to get the dub. If Collingwood can't beat us, they're not going to beat Carlton. Swannies v Giants. Look, it's going to be a really rainy game. Really rainy game. SCG would mean repeat stoppages. So if you own Brodie Grundy, could get a lot of hitouts in this game.
If you're trying to get rid of Brodie Grundy like me, it might not be the best thing to hear, but we'll see. See what happens.
Yeah, but it also could be really beneficial for someone like a Tom Green, who's going to get a lot of repeat stoppages in the wet, and he's a contested beast. So if anyone's going to be a VC or a C option in this game, for me, it would be Tom Green as a VC.
Yep.
Plus Luke Parker, I think, will be back this week for the Swans. He's played through the VFL, got over 30 disposals last week, so it seems like he's ready to go. What does that mean for an Isaac Heaney? For that question mark alone means I don't want to go with Heaney as either VC or C this week.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've struggled, I think it was 2 weeks ago, with picking a Heaney and, didn't really work out for me. So, yeah, we'll wait and see what happens there. As Joe says, there's a lot of people coming through that midfield, and it's not the barren wasteland like it was, Joe, a few weeks ago.
No.
Who's your tip?
Strictly because of the conditions, I'm going with the Giants.
That's who I picked as well.
If it was a dry day, I don't know why. If it was a dry day, I think the Swans, their class and their ball movement on the outside would have been good enough to cut through the Giants. But because I think it's going to be so wet and slippery, I just think there's the Giants back deeper in the midfield with more contested animals. I just feel.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I think I would have picked the Giants regardless, but as you say, weather means a lot, especially when you're not playing at Marvel and there's no roof. So, yeah, I think the Giants are just ready to go and they'll do well. St Kilda versus North Melbourne. And I know a few people have talked about North Melbourne potentially winning, but I don't think it's going to happen. St Kilda looks great. Unfortunately, as Joe has alluded to today, Rowan Marshall might not be fit. Jack Steele might not be fit either. So probably not captaincy options, though. I think Rowan Marshall potentially, or Jack Steele, round 2, if it was his form then, could have been a captain or vice captain option. I assume you've picked St Kilda, Joe?
This is not a foregone conclusion. I'm just going to say this is if there was ever a time where North Melbourne was to run into St Kilda, this is the time where you say they look good. Mate, they were shellacked last week against Port.
Yeah, but everyone has a good game against North Melbourne. We played Brisbane into form. We play everyone else into form.
Yeah, but St Kilda was shellacked. They were flattered by the margin in the end because Port Adelaide just could not convert a set shot to save their life. Steele is huge for them, and he's injured. Marshall is huge for them, and he's injured. Webster. Jimmy Webster could be back this week. What are you guys going to do to Jimmy Webster? I don't know.
Probably nothing.
All the media.
Clarko had to yell at. I'm being a bit pessimistic today, but Clarko basically had to go and yell at Jimmy Webster. I think the North players saw their captain on the floor and gave him a little bit of a push and then kept playing the game. So, yeah, hopefully there's a bit of a, hey, Jimmy Webster did this to Dry Simpkin, and a bit of a bounce back there, Joe.
I'm going to tip the Saints, but I would not be surprised if North win this game. I'll actually would not be surprised if North win this game, given they're walking wounded. Plus, yeah, if you're going to have a VC or C from a Supercoach perspective against the Saints, you are absolutely looking at Harry Sheezel. And if I'm really worried about Sexton being named, for example, then what I will do is I will actually change my VC to Sheezel so that I can have an early VC, and then I can put the captaincy on someone like a Merritt or a Sarong. I'm not entirely sure which one just yet. I think Sarong would have been a no-brainer for me, if not for that freaking Marlon Pickett tag last week on Petrarca. So,
but potential tag from that could be detrimental to his scoring. Yeah.
Correct.
Petrarca, he weared Petrarca like a glove, Joe.
He did. And if the glove don't fit, you must acquit.
It was great for us in Supercoach, though, because now we can pick him up.
Yes. Correct. But I anticipate a strong bounce back. Unless he cops Mark O'Connor this week, then that would be even better.
Ooh, imagine that. Petrarca 500K, get in.
Oh, that would be unreal if that happened. If he copped a Mark O'Connor tag, because he's now copped 2 tags in a row, back-to-back weeks, which has limited his scoring in back-to-back weeks. And obviously the Cats are a very well-drilled side, one of the best coaches in the league with Chris Scott. And they used Mark O'Connor in that tagging role against Sam Walsh in the first half last week. Surely they'd send him to Petrarca this week.
Yeah, I mean, like, if they want to win, they're probably going to have to try and nullify their better mids versus the other team. So why would you not?
Mate, I'm going the Cats in this one.
Yeah, I picked the Cats as well.
Very good. Max Gawn will be fine as a VC. I know his history hasn't been the best, but I think last time he played against the Cats, Grundy was in the team as well. So I would completely discount that one. And Max Gawn's just got the hottest hand in the competition. You could just blind see him every week at this point, and it will work out okay for you.
Yeah. No, it's worked out all right for me so far. We'll see. See if the trend continues. The guy's the best player in the AFL, so yeah, it's not looking too bad. West Coast versus Essendon. I've picked West Coast. I think Essendon are going to struggle, and they're playing at Optus. And being serious here, I think Zach Merritt's a fine pick. We spoke earlier about West Coast and their ability to nullify opposition mids a little bit. So potentially that affects a Merritt, but Merritt does Merritt things across the board. And as long as he's not being, tagged by Brad Scott's poor decisions and going to the forward line, I think he'll be okay as a selection for captaincy, Joe.
All the way, boys. All the way home. We are riding this wave to victory. We're going to be top 8. Could be top 4 if we win this game this week. Massive ramifications. I think Brad Scott is going to keep the boys grounded. The Eagles have shown that there are no easy pushovers. And we're going to come in and we're going to be sharp. We're going to take them seriously. We're not going to do a classic Essendon and lose to them, I don't think. I'm backing us in, and I'm backing in Zach Merritt to have a wonderful performance. You are very correct. It's that transition play. It's the marks around the ground and his beautiful kicking. I can see us kicking our way through their zone defense, and I can see Zach Merritt being a beneficiary of that. So I'm anticipating around 130 for Zach Merritt this week.
I picked Essendon to win, if anyone's asking.
Nice. Richmond hosting the Dockers. I think we're all going Dockers, yes?
Yes. Yeah. No, Dockers. Sarong being an option, I don't think anyone else really is. Sean Darcy could end up being an okay selection in Supercoach down the line, potentially post-buy, with a lot of us having Gawn and Grundy and Marshall and everyone else who have later buys, I believe. Maybe not Marshall. But yeah, it's not a bad selection there. I think Freo, they're still reeling from when West Coast beat them, Joe. I've seen some stuff online about, make it happen, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. And Richmond give up a lot of points because they've got a young team. Are they positive on every metric?
They are.
Holy everyone does good against Richmond. Like, I'm trying to figure out North Melbourne. At least North Melbourne are good against defenders because, like, the ball's never in the forward line. The ball's never there. But Richmond just losing every... Oh, my gosh, mate. Joe, which defender... I know you don't like him, but which defender is now playing Richmond this week and has a plus 64% score bonus?
Thank God his break even's 165. Because he's going to score. He's going to score. He's going to score 165 and not go up in price. He'll be around that price. Thank God. If that's the case, then I'm trading him in next week before he goes up even more. So, yeah. Like, honestly, Sarong could, if it can go one of two ways for Sarong. Either he gets tagged by Marlon Pickett and he scores 90, or he doesn't get tagged and he scores 170. Like, it's legit one of those two. Either he dominates, or he's tagged, or he starts off hot and then they send Marlon Pickett to him, and he ends like 110, 120. So it's that Marlon Pickett concern that I have, which is why I won't see him. I won't captain Sarong. I think he is prime vice captain. It just sucks that he plays on a Sunday. And what you could do if Sexton's not playing is you could VC him, and then you can captain either an English or a Bond. If you just want to be sure of what happens with Sarong. Because if he's not tagged, the potential is insane. If he is tagged, then obviously that sucks, but at least you can avoid it with a VC. So you have to pay attention to see if our sexy boy Sexton is named or not.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm still going Sarong. He's still in my trade plans, but I totally agree with the captaincy. It's tough if you don't own Max Gawn and kind of have a certain, player who's going to be the selection. There's a few options on Sunday that could work out. Sarong's one of them. The Bont could definitely be another one versus the Hawks. Unlike Richmond, the Hawks don't tag. The Hawks say, "Hey, mate, here's some points." I'll have to check their differential against everybody, but Bont could be okay. He could score pretty well. So, yeah, looking great for him as a selection. I've picked the Dogs, Joe. I assume you have as well.
Yes, likewise.
And then the last game of the week, Lions versus Suns. Now, I'm going to tell you who I picked, and I know why. I picked the Suns. I think the Suns are on a tear. I think the Suns are on a tear. Brisbane, yes, have won a game versus North Melbourne, but still have their issues. And the Suns are just going bonkers, and I want Touk Miller to do well. So I'm kind of manifesting that a little bit into the Suns this week. I hope Sexton's named, because that would make me very happy.
Yeah, the Lions are a weird case. They're doing a lot right, especially when it comes to winning the ball, moving the ball forward into their forward line. But the problem is their conversion is terrible. Their connection between the midfield and the forward line is deplorable. And Joey Judas Danaher. And so their connection is terrible between the midfield and the forward line. And even when they do get the ball in the forward line, they're being very wasteful in front of the big sticks. And I'm not entirely sure if both of those issues can be rectified overnight in the span of a week. Whereas the Suns just seem to be playing with a renewed energy. There just seems to be unity, cohesion, and I think it's that new coach energy that comes with obviously a new coach. So for me, I'm thinking that the midfield in the Gold Coast midfield, Touk Miller, Matt Rao, Noah Anderson getting tapped by Wits in what's going to be a slippery, dewy affair. The Lions won't have that advantage over the Suns because the Suns, their home ground is the same. They both play in that state. So I'm going to back the Suns in to be a positive matchup for the Lions.
Yeah, that's what I picked too.
And you could captain Rao. If you own Matt Rao, you could put the C on him. The way he's going, and we saw what Tom Green did to Brisbane last week. He went bananas. Let me just see. Do we see? Let's see. Brisbane. Oh, they're pretty good against inside mids apparently, but we saw what they did. We saw what Tom Green did last week. He went over 150. So that's a potential if you really have had poor scores up until this point.
If you fell asleep the whole weekend and didn't pick anyone to play in Supercoach, then potentially you could pick Matt Rowell or Touk Miller as your vice captain, and you'd be very happy.
Correct. And on that note, guys, thank you so much for watching. That was our final trades video, our captain video, as well as our tips. Let us know in the comments down below what you think. Let us know if you enjoyed it. If you did, a like, very nice. A subscription if you're new, and hit that notification bell to make sure that you don't miss out on any of the videos and live streams that we are pumping out on a regular basis.
Guys, this week's been mad. We've already put out like 4 videos, 2 live streams. We've got one on tomorrow as well. So hopefully we can see you guys at 5:30 for the drive home.
Yes, guys, because here at the Centre Bounce, we do the hard work so that you don't have to.